For joining me on this Friday night. Coming on a little early because I got a bunch of things to do, so I hope everybody's well out there. This is an hour that I set aside to try to help everybody in equity on a case-by-case basis in order to, reach everybody to the best light possible and to raise conscious vibrations and help everybody become more one with all and all with one. So feel free to ask any and all questions. I'm assuming that my mic's good. For some reason it's booming. I used to have to amplify it up 400%, but it looks like it is doing just fine now. So anyway, I don't know if anybody out there has ever done any laser hair removal, but daggone, that stuff hurts. I had a little bit done, and that is no joke. I'm gonna tell you what, I almost need to walk up in there with a ball gag or something, because that is some pain right there. Goodness gracious. I have been having a beautiful week. Weather's getting a little cold, and I recently started studying women's psychology, which is, wow, I'm gonna tell you what, being a man and walking this earth for 42 years and just now starting to learn women's psychology is just, it's absolutely amazing, because I've never even tried to put myself in the position of what it's like to be a girl on this earth. And I'm gonna tell you what, women, y'all are so very powerful and amazing. And one thing that makes women so much more, it's a different energy, but one thing that separates women from men is the fact that they view everything on a substance base, whereas men, they just like view everything by form. Typically, they go by the visual and stuff like that. And when on the dating scene, that makes it so, it's so weird to think that a woman does not find a man attractive off of physical appearance. Like, it's like that ain't enough. That ain't it. That ain't the whole potatoes. So they actually go off like substance, like man's personality, in order to be attractive. And I thought that was just that's one of the many little tips and tricks that I learned from studying some of the psychology. I've gone through a couple different videos and different sources to try to put together pieces and stuff like that. And it is just girls grow up and they're not really prepared for the amount of power that they can have over men, and so that's one of the things that's kind of interesting is whenever you're trying to date, a girl doesn't want to push over a guy. She wants a guy that's confident and standing out. And oddly enough, a girl doesn't want a guy that is, just completely infatuated with her, like wants to give her the world and do all that stuff. It's one of those things where, equally, people want what they can't have. That is an intrinsic, inherent value that we all share together. People don't want what they, oh, I'm getting a phone call. I might have to actually mute this. Anyway, I hope that everybody out there is enjoying their night so far. This is, like I said, it's a time set aside. Awareness Daily, how you doing? Thanks for joining and coming on here. I hope I didn't discourage you from posting on the chat any. I was just I think last week I was mentioning some of them do get a little lengthy, hard to read. That's all, because I have my time. I'm starting to spend more time really with family, and in all honesty, I love helping others and I love helping people, but it's hard to reach people on this platform now because I'm so shadow banned. And like my last video, it went live for about 2 hours before TikTok removed it completely, banned it, community guidelines violation, wouldn't accept appeal, none of that jazz. So I ended up reposting it, and I even told him, I'm like, this is for entertainment purposes only, like what's going on? Yeah, what's up, Exposed and Straw Man? I am coming on a little earlier. Normally, I started coming on late at night because I got a much bigger viewing. I saw a question from Awareness. Let me see if I can scroll through it. Awareness Daily, can the legal name be utilized as a creditor via its credit profile for use by an institution? Can the legal name, so you got the corporation, which has the underlying, social security number, which is really what kind of ties it into the federal framework. Okay, you got the social security number, tax identification number, that kind of ties it to that, and that's where the private assets kind of can be held unless you're going through a banking agent to create a promissory note or something like that. But the legal entity can't do much of nothing in the public unless you're moving it or allowing it to be moved. And you got to remember that all of the institutions that are allowed and authorized to do certain things, they're all federally bound and registered, so they can't, unless they're acting outside of their guidelines, shouldn't be, going outside of general accounting practices. And on top of what I mentioned in the Telegram group, where even though there's a public and a private, the public has a definition of private that's different than being private. Well, the public also in accounting has a definition for asset, which is different than private asset. Okay, so like private asset. So there is a public definition of assets, and the truth is that any proof of debt in the public is an asset because the bankrupt or the public is bankrupt and stuff like that. So the credit profile, they can use it if they've been authorized to. I mean, you as the authorized representative can do a lot of different things with the credit line or credit. I'm not sure how what kind of institution you're referring to. Let me go down here. I got 41 new messages. Can't believe you see me. Awareness, no, it's all good. I like sharing my craft on the tel. Yeah, I appreciate it too. A lot of the stuff is good. And it's not, honestly, it's not even just you, because I have another Telegram group. Like I said, I had to delete it from my phone because it was taking up 10 gigabytes or megabytes, whichever one's bigger. I don't even remember. It was taking up so much room on my phone, I had to delete it. So now I can only check it on my computer profile every couple days or day or so. And I have another Telegram group that does the same thing. I'll look at, and they have 300, 250 messages or something, and I'm just trying to scroll through them. And some of them do the same thing where they're using AI to like write huge long paragraphs about all kinds of stuff, like essays and books and stuff. And I do love reading, but I'm also starting this new little balancing thing where, I had to actually hang up the phone on someone else. They called me from my website, and I was on the phone for about 50 minutes. I was in the middle of eating when they called me. I was still talking to them, I was eating, had to get dressed, had to go pick up my son and take him to the doctor for a visit. And I was literally trying to tell him, I'm like, all right, gotta go. I'm here, gotta take my son. And they said, oh, okay, I appreciate it. He's like, well, now that I got you here, and then I hung up on him because I'm like, I got a life, I got stuff to do. But I do enjoy reading, and some things do capture my attention, a little more than others. But I think that's everybody. It's like, it's hard enough to give advice to people that want it, let alone people that don't want it. But I hope you can definitely get your creative juices flowing and let it out. But I did like that sometimes you would post the link, you'd have the verbiage on your web or on your Facebook profile, and you would just post the link to it on, if it's like a subject that someone would be interested in diving in deeper or whatever. And I've clicked on them. I'll click on them and glance through it and see if it's something that I want to dive into. Awareness, basically, can I get paid for them using it? So yeah, there's ways around that, okay? And part of that is something called a finder's fee, for instance. So like if you, let's say you're a subcontractor, okay? And you're subbing something out, or you're finding people work, for instance, okay? You can they can pay you a finder's fee for you finding them work, okay? A lot of businesses do this. It's all about business management and big business marketing and stuff like that. There's techniques where CEOs will set up a business management guy or a business promoter to find more business, and they'll actually pay them a sum of all of the new business that they get. So you could, in essence, find someone who is authorized or allowed to monetize signatures or convert stuff into the private or public, depending on what you're trying to mess with, if it's private or public or private or public, on and on. Depending on what you're trying to do, you could find someone that's interested in working with you, like at a bank or something like that. You could be your own bank. I see ads all the time where it's like, in 3 clicks you could be your own private bank, and just click. Anyway, guys, thanks for all the shares, the likes, the follows, and everything. I appreciate you coming on and joining me on this Friday. All right, so where are we at? See any more questions? Scrolling down. Cool, I'm at the bottom. Anyway, it's been a fun, wild week. Been staying busy for sure. I enjoyed What did I paid daggone CapCut got me. I paid the whole yearly subscription to it, and then I was thinking, dang, isn't TikTok supposed to be banned in like, you know, a couple weeks or something like that? But then I was thinking, like, if TikTok goes out, even Trump said that if TikTok goes out, something else will just replace it. And I was like, dang, what am I going to use CapCut now if I can't post videos anymore? You know, if I can't spend 15 hours to get, you know, 300 views, you know, making a video anymore, where am I going to post it? I can put it on YouTube where, you know, I'll get 10 views or 8 views. So that'd be even funner, getting, you know, spending 15 hours on a video to get 2 views or 3 views. So guys, this live, I come on here once a week to try to set aside time to help everybody on a case-by-case basis. You can always DM me, or you can email me, or reach out through my telephone services to get consultation. I give it for free on a case-by-case basis. I get people asking me questions all the time, sending me videos, emails, all that stuff. If you want a recap of this live, the video will be on YouTube. The audio will be in my Telegram group. I have exclusive content on all my social medias, which are linked on my website. I created a website that has auxiliary information to help everybody on their path to understand the foundations of nature, spirit, and commerce, and the lights that are coherently coinciding with that nature, spirit, and commerce, the natural light, spiritual light, and commercial light. So the website's on there with all my social medias linked. My website's linked on my profile page of TikTok. If you click on the emblem, scroll down a little bit, it's Anointed New Foundation of Peace.life. I've also created tons of playlists to help everybody, and I actually have people, like, you know, congratulating me on how much better my content is now that I'm getting more professional at making videos and stuff. And it just so happens right around, you know, the time when I'm shadow banned, blackballed, and blacklisted from being able to reach a lot of people. I mean, as soon as I posted my last video the first time, as soon as I posted it, same thing. They're like, basically, here, promote this video. Like, it's before they even review it, they're basically saying, TikTok's like, if you want this video to go anywhere, pay me. Okay, if you want anybody to see this, pay me. And I'm just like, I'm a not-for-profit, and they, you know, of course they're working for profit, but so anyway. And 2 hours later, it got community guidelines violation removed, and it might have been. I did a couple different things when I reposted it. I actually left the CapCut end on it, hoping, you know, I hope that that'll help promote. I mean, because that's promoting one of TikTok's businesses, you know, CapCut. Because sometimes when you open up TikTok, it'll have, you know, something that has 78 billion views on it, and it's just because they're using a CapCut template, so they're purposely promoting that because it's part of their business model that they want to make more profits and stuff like that. So they'll push that stuff out. And anyway, guys, again, feel free. This is I'm coming on a little earlier than usual tonight because I'm trying to. I got to go to bachata class after this, and then I'll probably end up picking up one of my kids and having fun with them later. So this is a beautiful Friday night. Feel free to ask any and all questions. I thank you for all the likes. I'm already at 2.6 thousand. I've learned that I get a lot more likes when I get up and I show y'all some bachata moves. So, you know, that's always an option too if y'all are interested in seeing how to do a little bit of Latin dance out here in the mix, just to get it wild and going. So yeah, we'll go back to women's psychology, and you know, I can't even imagine what it would be like to be a woman, you know, because, you know, as a guy that, you know, fights looking solely at the in the natural light, like looking at girls in the natural light, because women are very, very beautiful, and it's very hard. And actually, you know, there's an unwritten guy code whenever you're dating a woman to don't make any life-changing goals or moves until after you've been with the girl for a year. And the reason for that is because after, you know, around a year at least, that's when the facade of all the excitement, you know, this is a new toy, new girl, new amazing thing, you know, all of the masks come off, and you're able to basically see the truth of, you know, the people that you're dealing with. She can see you for who you are, and you can see her for who you are, or who you are. You know, I'm not saying that there's not people out there that fall in love and get married within a month and they don't last, but it's a typical good idea to wait at least a year before someone makes any like life-changing moves with someone, you know, that they met, you know. But for women, I mean, I can't imagine what it would be like to walk around and just be having girls. Like, so this is just me, all right? And I actually get hit on by, I am a very, I don't know if it's lucky guy, but I actually am one of the few guys that actually get hit on by girls, okay? And but it ain't often, okay? But I can only imagine what it would be like to be a beautiful girl walking around and like just walking around and having every girl Googling me, trying to holler at me, trying to lie to me, to try to tell me what I want to hear. Because that's what, it's funny. I was watching one of these videos and they say that, one of the reasons why women are crazy is because since the age they reach puberty, every single guy has been lying to them to try to hook up with them. So it'll make you go crazy because all these girls are being lied to their whole life by every guy that's just trying to do whatever they can to be a simp or pushover guy, being nice to try to hook up. And then that's funny, one of the things that attracts a woman is actually the guy that does something called it's like a playful challenge, okay? It's not where it's like, oh yeah, you're so beautiful. It's like, where'd you get your nails from? A Cracker Jack box or something, like playing with them a little bit. Not, it'll take them out of the square and give them somewhat of a little bit of a challenge because their whole life they're walking around and they have, all these guys just laying down ready to give them jackets and all this stuff. And, as a guy, I can only imagine what it would be like to have girls just like, trying to peek at me through my window, like waiting for me by my car, like trying to do everything in the world for me. That's got to be a really weird environment to just walk around and have like girls just jumping, trying to, I've heard Australia's like that because it's just all women, but anyway, it's just kind of fun when you start learning women's psychology. Like I said, I've never taken the time or effort to try to understand the way women think, and it is a whole different level. It's a different energy. It's a different come from. It's a different type of scenario. It's really, really interesting to learn. Your follower, Diplomatic Immunity, joined from short videos. Okay, how you doing? Guys, again, feel free to ask any and all questions. Shan Mining, Charles, have you achieved reversion? What the heck is reversion? I know what a version is, but how do you read it? Let's see here, reversion. I don't know if that's a return from previous state of practice. Law, the right, especially of the original owner or their heirs, to possess or succeed to property on the death of the present possessor at the end of a lease, a property to which someone has the right of reversion. What are you asking? Have I reverted on? Like, are you talking about property? Or are you talking about like going back to what? I'm just kind of trying to find balance in my life as far as balancing. Like I said, I had a lot of mentors that said they studied for 20 years. They kept their nose in the book, studying commercial codes, studying banking laws, paying against trust and stuff. And they said that they were like, please take my advice now. Here I am 25 years later, and I wish I would have spent that time with my kids, or I wish I would have spent that time, walking on the beach or smelling the flowers or enjoying life, And I love that I have this vast amount of knowledge and I'm able to help a lot of people, but I'm also, like I said, I'm trying to balance it out a little bit where I'm enjoying life. And again, I mentioned on my last live that it is somewhat demotivational when I spend 15 hours on a video and then the shadow ban blackballed, it's removed from TikTok and all that stuff. And it used to be so easy to film for 45 minutes, make 15 minutes of edits, post it on TikTok, and it would go out to 80, 90, 100,000, 200,000 people. Now, I'm putting in 12, 15, 16 hours worth of work, and it'll go out to 150 people if I'm lucky, So I might have to end up finding a different platform. We'll see what happens, but, I guess we're all kind of on the edge of our seats wondering what's going to happen to this thing over here, but anyway, again, thanks for the follows, guys. Thanks for the shares and the likes and all the hearts and stuff like that. I do appreciate it. Feel free to ask any and all questions. I have had a very lucky journey in life to be able to study full time while also maintaining employment to be able to pay for everything. So I've been able to do both things at the same time. I've been able to work and study while like right now, for instance, like I'm managing 26 properties and I can do almost anything I want as long as there's not like a fire or something. Like I think I just had somebody with an AC out that they didn't pay gas for, so that's going to be on their end. But other than that, feel free. I try to stay on here for an hour to help everybody, but if there aren't any questions, I can always wrap up early, and I will end up putting a recap of this on YouTube, which will go out to about 7 people, and the audio will be in my Telegram group, and I have exclusive content on all my social medias, and they are linked on my profile page on my website. My website is Anointed New Foundation of Peace.life. I edit it all the time. I've created all kinds of structures, all kinds of different trusts and businesses to operate with, and I'm doing my best to try to explain all these systems at play for everybody, so they'll at least have some knowledge and understanding. Because if you lean on the mainstream media, mainstream narratives, and I just watched a video on Instagram that's like, if I break my arm, I'll go to a doctor. If I need a surgery, I'll go to a doctor. But outside of that, doctors don't know nothing about biology. They are completely trained to issue medicine. They will something that will just kind of perpetuate a client for life. Nothing that will cure anything. It just continues to create business. It basically creates a pluck for the pharmaceutical industry, and nobody really cares about that kind of knowledge. But if you talk about money, I got some ears. Talk about some money, or you start talking about some court or stuff like that, because it's surprising how many people have issues with court. The funny part is that a lot of us I think the average American creates like 5 felonies a day or something like that. Like something crazy. I don't know what it is anymore, but I see a secured party creditor on here. I remember learning that about, 8, 9, 10 years ago? 10 years ago, I was studying secured party creditor. That is a kind of old school technology, but you can learn a lot from it. And I even mentioned in my videos where if you do take that position, it is possible to enforce that stuff, because in the public, it really doesn't matter what the truth is, even though the state created the U.S. citizen and it's under their control. We are the authorized users of it, and we can move it around and stuff, but we are also end up being liable for the contracts that we get it in. And that is one of the biggest problems that I face with trying to help people is, people don't like reading, they don't like doing education, they don't like studying. And you got to look at it like this: how many years were we indoctrinated? When you go to the public full system, you are indoctrinated heavily for 12 years. And I even broke down what the public education system was created for. It's created for division, and to basically weed out people, and to keep you in a social class, and to it's a terrible system to create employees. That's basically all it's set up for. It's to set up where the bells ring like that. You only got 30 minutes for lunch. You got to move to class, and then just take authority. One of them, I think, was one of the reasons is to obey authorities. When the funny thing is, the truth is that we are all the ultimate authority in our own lives. We are sovereign fractals that have the unlimited will and unlimited ability, and we're being taught continuously from all these systems that we're garbage. That we are supposed to be subservient, when really we are all masters on the land. But through self-education, to a degree, right? Like I said, a lot of people want to go in and run in head over feet and dive into it for decades, and it does take a lot of time. But you also need to balance out life sometimes. I thought it was kind of funny, but it's kind of not also. I had Jenny McCarthy. So Jenny McCarthy is one of my followers, and she actually read one of the messages I sent to her, where I made a video just kind of joking, talking about her, but she posted a video about HBOT, which is one of the videos I also posted about. And she said she had been doing it for 20 years. She had been doing hyperbaric oxygen therapy. And she said all the benefits on it are so amazing and all this stuff. And she's like, oh, well, I finally she said, I was doing it back when it was a plastic zip up. She's like, now I finally upgraded to a hard shell HBOT to, this, that, and the other. And the top comment on her video was, I can't even afford to breathe regular air. And I thought that was so funny, but it's kind of not too. It's like, that's one of the issues that we're all struggling with out there, is that we don't understand all these systems that are at play. We were basically programmed to be employees for 12 years in the public full system, and then we're not taught about taxes, we're not taught about signatures, we're not taught about private banking, we're not taught about businesses, any of that stuff. And so we get thrown out there, and we're just lucky to have enough to rub together. And I think that after I looked at some statistics, that women on average, I think women hold 2/3 of the debt out there, it's like billions in college debt, and they actually only hold 1/3 of paying taxes. So, you know, women, and it's not an inequality of, you know, one employer prefers a man over a woman. It's more of women actually find jobs that they enjoy. Women use emotional based logic, okay, and that's kind of what they go after in life, is they go after what feels right, what feels good, you know, and they also go after substance, right? So they do stuff that makes them happy, not typically what's going to bring them the most money, and so they end up not getting like a super high paying job most of the time, unless they end up wanting to, you know, put off being a home mom or having children, all that stuff. You know, there are very business driven women that are oriented into just trying to, you know, further their career. You know, I mean, that's why I try to teach on a case by case basis, is because everybody's individual on their own goals and paths. Okay, but again, guys, I've been on here for about 30 minutes. I usually try to stay on here for an hour, but if nobody has any questions, you know, we can wrap this sucker up, because I mean, I can't talk a hole in my head from just random stuff, but I do really enjoy setting this time aside to try to help anybody if they have any questions, because I do have free consultation for everybody. Like I say, you can call me on my phone, email me, DM me, send me, you know, chats or whatever. I spend a lot of time helping people all the time, from all different walks of life, Indian chiefs to you know, federal personnel on accident, to you know, on and on and on. Everybody in between. We're all in this together. Ain't none of us gonna make it out alive. And I think one of the biggest things is to try to be happy in this lifetime, and it can be hard, especially when we're not taught about all these systems that are at play that keep us down and in boxes and basically make us look like we're worthless accidents that don't have the unlimited power to contract, you know, and it just is what it is. But again, guys, feel free. If nobody has any questions, I'm gonna finish this movie that I was watching. It was actually getting kind of good. It was about kids playing in traffic, so to speak. I think that's the proper way to say it. And you know, we can call it a night, because I got some bachata class to do later. I only have a couple more left to do before I'm done with doing classes. The minutia minima. If you could start all over again, what would you do first? Are you talking about like from birth? Or are you talking about on my commercial walk, my natural walk, spiritual walk, or commercial walk? Like which one are you talking about? Are you talking about like all of them? Or are you talking about like if I started back? I can tell you, if I start back as a kid, I wouldn't have screwed up as much as I did, because I was doing like everybody does, just having fun, not worrying about any consequences, getting in trouble. That was what was exciting to me, is for some reason my whole life was finding loopholes around the established systems that were in place. I was always a class clown in school, because I just felt like it was just a joke being in there. And I'm like, what was funny, around when I turned about 17 or 16, I'm like, I would rather be out making money than sitting in a stupid desk just listening to somebody talk about George Washington's teeth, you know, and you know, the funny thing is I learned later that all the stuff they were teaching me was false anyway. You know, for instance, anytime anyway, and I'm not saying, you know, follow this model or not. I'm just telling you, this is the perfect example right here. If any of y'all have ever seen a 3D model of the Earth, it's a lie, because no one has ever gone down below 8 miles into the crust. Nobody on Earth. There is no recording of anything. There's no data. There is nothing available below 8 miles into the Earth. So anything that is shown in any book that shows that, what they think or what they believe, or what they, you know, it's all just make-believe, because there's no data. They have tried for years and years and years to go below 8 miles into the Earth's crust, and they can't do it. For whatever reason, something's stopping it. Like something's like not, you know, it's too strong or whatever. I don't know. But anyway, I've seen some of these orbs going on TikTok recently, and it reminds me a little bit of the what was it called, Operation Bluebeam or whatever, where they can basically use 2 infrared lasers, and they can point them at each other, and they can have it hit in the middle of the air, and it can create an ionosphere or whatever, and create like a ball of light, and they can drive it with the 2 lasers. They can steer it wherever they want. Diminutia minima. I mean, with administering yourself instead of the government administering your Pulp Fiction. Yeah, so if I could start over, I wasted, I wouldn't say wasted, because, obviously looking back, a lot of the wrong paths and turns that I took actually was laying foundations to allow me to help others to avoid those mistakes, like secured party creditor, stuff like that. So, looking back on a selfish level, if I wasn't actually here, my whole goal wasn't to help everybody and elevate everybody's consciousness. If I could go back, I would have wished that I knew from the beginning that the U.S. citizen is just a tool that I can use. It's not me. I'm not bound in darkness. I'm not bound. I used a lot of biblical references when I did my status document and stuff like that. But one of the things I wish that I had known was that the U.S. citizen is not mine. Somebody else created it. It's just a tool that I can use. You're only taxed on how you do business, okay? And if you want to use Federal Reserve notes, which of course is a common medium of exchange, but that's someone else's property, okay? If you're going to use someone else's property like Federal Reserve notes, and you're going to be engaged in for-profit in a federal zone, then there's a tax liability, okay? Simple things like that I wish I would have known from the beginning, or had somebody like me tell me these things. And that's why I make my playlist. And 99% of the people that I say watch my playlist, I never hear from again. Because they don't want to do the work, or it's not relevant to the issue. They don't think it's relevant to the issue that they're currently having, but it is all tied together, all of these things. And I know my first few videos when I was making my foundations are a little dry because I wasn't as good at coming on here and being promotional and stuff. And to be honest, the reason is because I didn't want to put my face on TikTok. I didn't want to use my likeness or my profile because I can lose. People are so judgmental from the natural light. People will look at, this white guy, or, I can't pasty dude, or whatever. Or like, you either like me or hate me. And I learned a long time ago that people will either love you or hate you for your success. And neither one of them are to be trusted, okay? And that's true for anything. I lay foundations in all kinds of areas. People want what they can't have. People they want to be anywhere other than where they are at. Everybody wants a challenge. It's weird. We're all testing ourselves. We're all basically fractals of the creator. We are the source, and that's one of I love the 3 different views of life. When you come to the first first understanding is that you are the player. And that's what happened with me and the U.S. citizen, is I thought I was the U.S. citizen, okay? So step number 1 is you come into this game and you think you are the player. And then step number 2 is when you realize that you are the one that's playing the game, okay? You're the one that moves you are the one that moves the U.S. citizen. You're the one that moves this body. You are the spirit that's inside of this flesh body frame that moves this. You are not the body. You are not the U.S. citizen. You are the one that moves these things. Okay, that's level 2. Level number 3 is when you realize that you are the creator of the game. Okay. That's when you come to the 3rd stage of reality and you understand the whole big picture, that you can actually shape your reality through your consciousness and your will, and it's just amazing like that. And a lot of people, or I say elites, learn this. They learn, I think it's called the blue feather, that if you keep manifesting in your mind and consciousness a blue feather, how it looks, how it feels, it'll pop up in your reality, because you can actually shape the natural realm. The natural realm is actually subservient to the spiritual, okay? Nobody operates like that, though. Nobody operates like there's anything other than this natural realm, and everybody's chasing the hamster wheel, being bound by mammon, trying to earn a couple dollars because they think that's what's going to buy them freedom. And the truth is that there's an abundance of everything. There's corporate leaders at the top of these pyramids that are controlling the strings to keep everybody in lock. But there's an abundance of food, there's abundance of money, there's an abundance of diamonds, there's abundance of gold, there's abundance of all this stuff out there. Like, there's no lack. But these corporations, for profit, and that's why the IRS, which is the neutral arm of accounting to monitor where all Federal Reserve notes go, was established. They tax you if you're working for profit. The reason for that is because people are greedy. It's an insidious system that basically promotes manufactured lack. They put all this stuff where false expiration dates on food. Now, I'm not saying use that as a rule of thumb to eat that, expired stuff all the time, but I've had stuff several times where it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months old and it's still perfectly fine, you know. But they got to have that, and all these corporations know these tricks. That's why when you're buying tickets or whatever, it'll be like, we'll hold this for 5 more minutes, and you see a clock ticking down, and you're like, oh man, I got to buy this now, or buy this now, it'll be 50% off, and you're like, oh, you know, it's just a psychological trick. All right, Tori Davis, sending love and understanding to all. If you on this great Friday, absolutely. Thanks for joining, much appreciated. Thanks. Guys, a recap of this live will be on my Telegram group. The video will be on YouTube. Feel free to browse through my playlist that I've created to help re-educate everybody on all these things. You know, the stuff that I studied for 13 years are found on my website. It's Anointed New Foundation of Peace.life, which is linked on my profile page of TikTok if you scroll down. And you also see all my social medias that have exclusive content. If you go on there, it's Anointed New Foundation of Peace.life. Feel free to email me, DM me, or ask any and all questions here, which I try to guide everybody in the proper light the best that I can. So I am at the bottom. Boom. And it's about 40 minutes. So I will again, if anybody wants to ask a question, feel free to. If not, I'm going to enjoy this movie. I can't remember the name of it, but it's about like Mexican cartels and stuff. It's pretty good. And we'll wrap this sucker up. It is a beautiful Friday, and I hope y'all enjoying your life. I thank you so much for all the likes, shares, follows, and all of the people that are on here becoming educated, because, you know, there's not a lot of us, you know. Just Sam, public or private? For what? For what, just Sam? What do you mean? Public or private what? You know, we all have public and private sides, you know, just like this flesh body that y'all are looking at is the public, but I have private thoughts. You know, that's the real substance. That's where it's at. It's in up in the third eye. Business, yeah, you can do that. You can do public business, you can do private business, you can do trusts, you can do LLCs, pass through, sole proprietorship, single member LLCs. You can do all kinds of stuff, you know, pass through entities, offshore banking. You know, you can barter. You know, two sovereigns can contract any way they want. And what's beautiful about the last video that I posted, oh, you know what's weird about the last video I posted? So again, originally they banned it, community guidelines removed it, like, which is usually they'll just ban it for people's For You feed, but they did not like this video for some reason. This is the first time I have ever posted a video and they completely removed it. They're like, this is gone, like, we don't like it. And I'm like, there wasn't nothing major in that. All the stuff I've been talking about for years on TikTok, and they did not like that video. So anyway, I did a couple things, Shim Sham reposted it. But what I find interesting is that I have had several people repost that video, but it is not showing up on the metrics. I've had at least 6 or 7 people reposting it, and on the metrics it says 0 people have reposted it. And I thought that was, you know, it's just weird. I've had people come onto this live and they've removed 5,000 likes from my lives. Like they are hardcore throttling me. Like, it's tough sometimes. But you know, that's how I know I'm on the right path, you know, because, you know, it says in the good book that if they rejected him, they will so reject you, you know, and that's how we're being sent out. The people that are supposed to cast light on this earth and to bring awareness to everybody will be rejected, because if you're not with the ways of the world, which is basically for-profit greed and basically Satanism and stuff like that, then you're going to be an outcast. And that's one of the, again, circling back to women's psychology, women are typically very entrained to have social networks, okay, and it's just part of their DNA. You know, they network with each other, they judge each other, they talk about everything like constantly. Whereas a man, he's fine to be alone. Like he enjoys to be alone. You know, just peace and quiet and just, you know, whatever. Sometimes, you know, but and it's hard to believe this, but for a woman that has a bunch of different friends in a group chat or whatever, one of these videos that I watched was it said that if their friends cut them off, like basically it's like worse than death to a woman to like have all their friends to ignore them, you know, all of a sudden. Like if my friends ignore me, like I can talk to them in 5 days, 6 days, 8, 9, 10, whatever, it's like fine. But the Lone Star Lioness, there are a few exceptions to the ideology. Oh, I absolutely believe that. But which ideology are you talking about? You know, because, you know, when talking about women in general is typically what I talk about. For instance, like it used to be back when there was only 2 sexes, part of the stuff that I like about bachata is there is a leader and a follower. And when with the new feminist movement, it is of course it's very empowering for a woman to try to take on the masculine roles, to be independent and be all this stuff and that and the other. But it throws off the balance some, because a woman's divine energy is actually to kind of and these are studies. The most Googled fantasies of women are when a woman is able to tame like a millionaire, a werewolf, a pirate, or something like that. Like that is like a woman's fantasy. That's like a woman embodying her divine energy, is to be able to conquer not a pushover, not a soft guy, some type of beast, some type of monster, like type of man. And when I'm doing bachata, it's going back to the basics. Not saying that, they even said it like this. Leader and follower sounds kind of bad, but if you look at it like when you're in a car, the pilot has stuff to do, but so does the co-pilot. So while I'm learning that there's a leader and a follower on the dance floor, it puts it back into the just, feminine, masculine energy, very simple, like it used to be back then before 6,000 sexes arrived or whatever, and people identifying as cats and all that stuff. And when it's on the dance floor, and I actually went to a social and I watched it, and I watched how the women were just being whipped around, like, and they were just absolutely loving it, like, because the leader, when a person leads in bachata or salsa or whatever, they actually start doing all these moves and basically start to take all kinds of all right. So the Lone Star Linus, I disagree. I think a fundamental level woman want to be conquered. That dichotomy, I think, it does exist. There are women that want to be conquered, and if you want to know the truth, the very beginning of a relationship, a typical beautiful woman, every guy in the world will bend over backwards to do whatever for her. Typically, okay. A woman is not attracted to that. A woman is attracted to a challenge. Okay, and that is one of the things that a guy can do to pick up a beautiful woman, is do something called a playful challenge, and not come up and say, "Oh, your hair is so beautiful," blah blah blah. She hears that all day long. When she posts a picture of her twerking or whatever, all the guys are like, "Oh my gosh, yes," blah 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 blah. Now, if someone posted on there like, "Where'd you get those leggings from? Walmart?" or something like that, like that's a playful challenge. That takes a woman out of her normal day-to-day routine, which is basically being swamped and swarmed by guys that will lie to her every single day. And that's part of the psychology. Now, of course, there are individual cases on everything. These are just general stuff that I'm learning from masters in psychology. Okay, like I'm not coming up with this stuff. I didn't do all the Google searches from the billions of women that want to like conquer pirates and werewolves and stuff like that. Like I had nothing to do with that. This is just data. And the truth on like dating apps, for instance, is there's women that just go on there so that they can feel good by getting likes. Like they're not on there to date. They're just on there to get likes. If a woman goes on a profile, she has a 75% chance on a dating app to match with someone who likes her. A guy has a 3% chance when he goes on a dating app. But of course, again, it's all on a case-by-case basis. These are a lot of just generalizations. Like, of course, there are women that want to be conquered, and that's like one of the things that masculine energy is supposed to do. Masculine energy is like diminishing massively. Part of it is because women want to embody what it means to be, independent and not need men, of course, but like I watch these videos where women want to be thrown around, like teasing on a kind of sexual type aspect or whatever, want to be tied up, on and on. But that's part of the beautiful, when you have two energies that are really compatible and they tie together good, and the masculine and feminine energy can flow together good. Yeah, that's kind of part of conquering each other to an extent, allowing each other to embody their energies. But yeah, absolutely, conquering a woman is what a guy wants to do, and conquering a man is what a woman wants to do. So, and if you even break it down, I could go even further. If you look at our physical anatomy, our sexual organs, like the way it is, I could even go further than that, but I can't say but too much on this platform to try not to get banned. I've been surprised that, on the lives, because they have banned me on really weird stuff before, but it seems like they've been letting me go a little loosey-goosey on this thing. It's kind of wild, but guys, feel free to ask any and all questions. Thanks for the 3,000 likes. But Like I said, I have been studying a lot about women's psychology, and you are correct. Some women do want to be conquered, and women want to also conquer men, and you can't do that if neither one of them is a challenge, right? It's like, it's just is what it is. But absolutely, I agree with you. So, all right, guys, I am at the bottom. Feel free to ask any questions. If not, I'm going to wrap up. I got an hour before I got to be at my class, my bachata class. Yeah, I only got 3 more, but this is only level 1. But I don't think I'm going to go any further than that because I actually picked it up really quick. I'm good at learning stuff pretty quick, and I'm really good at putting together pieces of puzzles and stuff. And that's why I like to use multiple sources. So like when I'm up here talking about women's psychology and stuff like that, I'm not just talking about from one book. I'm not just talking about from 2 sources. I'm talking about I've studied like several, like 5, 6, 7 different people, and I started to put together pieces and stuff that I have experienced in my own life. And it's like, oh wow, a woman will break up with a man just to feel something emotional. She will start a fight with a man just to feel some kind of emotion because stuff gets stagnant. And it blew my mind. I was like, oh wow, yeah, that's happened to me several times. Like I've had a woman that loves me that will start a fight or break up just to feel some emotion. And it's like, because me, as a man, a typical man thinks logically, women think emotionally, they're emotion based, which is, it's a different sort of power. But if you look at it in a relationship, it's a much more powerful position to take because men solely go off of mainly what turns them on, like visually, like they'll instantly look at a woman and go bang bang bang, whereas a woman doesn't get women aren't typically just walking around aroused, it's kind of like a dance. But anyway, again, loving learning women's psychology. A lot of I'm not saying I'm a master on the subject. I'm just starting to peel back the onion some and learn some of the pieces that I've been missing my whole life because nobody's ever taught me this stuff. Because you can't lean on mainstream media. You can't lean on the public education system. You can't lean on the medical system. You can't lean on any of that stuff. So, guys, anyway. Thank you so much for all this. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up. Again, a recap of this live will be on YouTube. The audio will be in my Telegram group. You can DM me or email me anytime you want to ask any questions. I give free consultation all the time on a case-by-case basis. You can call me on the phone and email me or however you want to reach out, and I do the best I can. I try to post a video once a week and try to go live once a week, and from there, if you can't find me, it's because I'm shadow banned. The only way to find out when I'm going live is to either join my Telegram group or to subscribe to me. So, Amisa, thank you guys for coming on here. Again, appreciate all the follows, likes, shares, and everything. So, anyway, y'all enjoy your Friday. I'm gonna chill and watch a movie for a little bit before I come and shake my hips, and we'll have another beautiful day. And thank you for the gift, much appreciated. Again, love you guys. Y'all have a great weekend. All right, bye.